Hey, I've got Bryan Kramer, and I'm sure everybody listening knows who that is, because Bryan, you're so popular.
I wish, but thank you.
Sure. So for those of you that don't know Bryan Kramer on Twitter, and he is a social business strategist and the CEO of Pure Matter. And he's led the Pure Matter, his agency, to consistent growth over the past 13 years, earning a spot as one of Silicon Valley's fastest growing private companies by the Silicon Valley Business Journal. Bryan has been listed as the 43rd most talked about marketer by global senior marketers in a report via Leadtail. Number 26 by Cred as a global top CEO influencer on social, and as one of the top 50 social CEOs on Twitter in the world by Huffington Post, and was identified as a top 25 influencer to follow by Forbes. Man, you get around, Bryan.
I feel like I'm dying.
Those are some accolades, my friend. So, man, I appreciate you spending time with me and sitting down. So, first, hey, let's tell our listeners what you've got going. What's new, H2H? Let's hear it.
Awesome, man. Well, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so really exciting stuff. But the Pure Matter side is doing very well, and we're excited about working with. We work with mainly enterprise clients, mid-market to enterprise, and do a lot of digital marketing. And so we're just having a lot of fun there. We're small but mighty. We're just under 20 people, and doing an exciting play on social, as you know, is a large part of what we do. And so, yeah, I think we're here to talk about a little bit about that too, but I'll leave that for your questions. And then on the H2H side that you're talking about, that's the book that just got released in the last 2 weeks, and I am very excited about that. That was kind of a real-time marketing experiment that I'm excited to say that worked out. So, I gave a presentation at it was at Bloomberg. I gave a keynote at Bloomberg, and one of the screens in there is something that I've been talking about for 13 years since we started Pure Matter, and it's called just human marketing and how to take a human-centric approach. And it's migrated and changed, and it's not anything new, to be honest with you, because a lot of people talk about P2P, person-to-person, people-to-people, peer-to-peer. I believe in the human model, and I just think that it's a little more authentic, and there's also room for error or mistakes, which is, as humans, what we tend to do. So, so I think that is why it took off the way that it did off the screen in that presentation. And within 24 hours, it ended up being about an 80 million, I think, impressions. And I thought, okay, if I'm listening to this right, it's resonating. I need to write a book. And so we pulled together within the next 4 days. All my content for the last 2 years and pulled it into a book and self-published it and got it out.
Wow.
So it was just a very exciting, busy time, now 4 weeks ago when we got that out, and then it launched, and it got into the top, I think now it's in the top 1% of all sales for all books on Amazon, and I mean, it's crazy. But the point is that we listened to everything that was going on. It's real-time marketing. You're hearing what people are saying. You're knowing what's resonating. We took that and turned it into something. I think that's kind of the magic of where we're at in marketing right now.
How do you think this is the H2H is going to resonate with the big enterprise brands, the ones, and I always tell people don't ever watch big brands to determine how to do social, because they don't do it right. They don't have to do it right. They never will do it right, right? So how is it resonating in that realm of the world?
It's been resonating really, really well. I'll give you an example. I got a request to speak at Oracle's cloud event that they had. I think it was now, it got in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and So I ended up speaking there, talking about it, and the next, couple people up after me was Larry Ellison, and he got up on stage and gave a keynote, and behind him he referred to the next decade of Oracle as human to human, and then put my book up. So it's definitely resonating with Oracle. The same thing happened on stage at Connect for IBM, and the same thing happened for a couple other companies. So I think that it's really connecting with people at the top. I think the challenge is, and I think that what you're getting to is, how is this actually going to be put into use? Like, how are we going to actually use this? It's one thing to have it resonate, it's another thing to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. So share with us, I have a couple questions with you, and we can kind of just lightly go through these and at whatever time and pace is comfortable for you. Tell us, what is your philosophy on social media marketing?
That's a big question, and you can go all kinds of places with that. I don't think that it's really it's not the media aspect, it's the social aspect. So when you think about social media, the word social is really the emphasis for me, and that is what that plays right back into what we're talking about human to human, where you're making connections. I mean, look at you and I and how we met and how we started talking to each other, and now we're sitting here, having a blast talking on your show. I mean, that's human to human right there. We just made a connection over social. I would have never met you, which makes me sad to think that, but I would have never met you if it weren't for social media, right? Yeah. So this kind of stuff happens all the time. And if you can really harness the fun and the power of building relationships online, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. I often tell people, tell me if this kind of sums up a little bit. What I tell people is that people connect with people, not brands and logos they've never heard of. And since there's far more brands that are, small and mid-sized brands than there are of the huge, corporate infrastructure brands that, we all see on TV or know by name, that it's really important that you be a human, as using your terms now, to other humans, and that's what people connect with. And would you say that that's kind of on page with what you're saying?
Absolutely. You nailed it. So just along those lines, if you think about it, businesses don't sell to businesses, because businesses, if you think about them as an entity, a business does not have an emotion.
Yep, that's right.
A person has an emotion. You can't sell to a business. You have to sell to a person. And that's what we're all talking about here. We're trying to figure out, how do I sell my product? How do I get myself into that organization? How do we convert? How do we get sales leads? Well, you don't do it with a business. You do it with people. So that's all I'm saying here. It's not the process, because I am also part of the other side of the book, or what it says is no B2B, no B2C. It's human to human. And I'm not talking about the process that we take there. It's not how we approach it. It's how we speak it and what we say that resonates on the other end. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's whatever you want to call it, P2P or human to human. It's how that emotion resonates.
I love it. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about content curation and what role you see that plays out there in social media marketing, and why you feel it's important.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So that's how I got started, was just curating and learning. So there's so many different facets, and now I'm speaking to, I should be asking you these questions, but curating is one of those things where, when you think back to let me take kind of a different approach here. Think about what a connoisseur is, right? And what emotion that generates for you, right? So think about an art connoisseur. And if you're into art, or even if you're not, and think about the fact that some people out there collect art, and they build this collection of this fine art that you could have never found, because it takes a certain kind of person to find something within a certain area or a certain niche of a certain fine art that you may want for your collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think content is the same way. I think it's the new social connoisseur. And when you combine the noise volume of all the content that's out there with a person who has an interest in a certain area that can collect things with an eye and understanding and a listening volume better than other people because they're interested in it, that turns them into a social connoisseur. And I think that is that's just as important as a blogger.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we find a lot of times, because our content strategy as a company, and with my personal accounts and the business accounts and all of those things, is that we really try to share a large percentage of the content that we share or curate or aggregate and share in the off the beaten path stuff, not the Mashable, not the big sites that everybody shares and reads. It's the stuff off the beaten path that in your scenario with the art connoisseur, right, that's what they all want to see and look for. Everybody knows about Rembrandt and so on, but it's that other stuff that really has a story that's different and unique, that provides a different emotion, if you will, or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think a lot of people have a hard time figuring out where to start. How do they write something? How do they build their blog? How do they get unfortunately or fortunately known? How do they get followers on Twitter? How do they build this stuff? And I don't think you have to worry about any of that if you're curating good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're finding the uniqueness and becoming a social connoisseur, a curator, connoisseur of sorts, like what you're talking about, it's just as important as blogging, and it will get you into an area where people will start seeing your own social body language. They'll start understanding what you care about and following you because you're providing them a value.
Exactly. I love it. And you're really saying this not as in content regarding social media, but it could be if you're in the business of pets, or in the business of Portland, Oregon, or whatever, but being known for sharing and finding and posting the most interesting, relevant, and valuable content on those topics.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so
cool.
You can't be everything to everyone. You know that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
What you can, and people want to follow people that resonates with them. That people like people that resonate with them. And so if we can share things that you're interested in, you truly have a passion for it, and curate the best, then you will receive so much more back than you put out there.
Indeed. All right. How did you hear about BundlePost, Bryan?
How did I hear about it? That's a good question. I think I saw you had responded to someone somewhere in a way that really kind of, I thought I admired you for the way that you responded to them, if I remember back. And it was that relationship that was first born that then got me to, I think we were just chatting, tweeting back and forth or something. And I'm always looking at people's profiles if I'm gonna engage with them. And your Twitter account must have popped up. It was some time ago, so I'm trying to think back, but I probably clicked on your Twitter handle, and that engagement or that relationship probably turned us into social friends. I think it was like almost overnight that I fell in love with your product, though, because I was speaking at Social Shakeup, and everybody wants to know, the one tool that's like the, and I'm always for the underdog, so I'm not trying to call your product an underdog, but I feel like there's products that aren't as, I want, they're Jerry Maguire, they're so awesome, you want them to be out there and everyone to use them, but it's not there yet.
Yep.
And they asked for that on stage, and I said, hey, BundlePost. So I think it generated probably a few tweets here and there, and our relationship probably went a little deeper. So
I remember that day. I got, I think in a matter of about 45 minutes, I got, I think a total of probably 100 messages via text,
wow.
phone, emails, Twitter, Facebook, chats, whatever, method, that, oh my God, Bryan's talking about BundlePost from the stage. Yeah, so it was great. It was a lot of fun. So why are you using it? Why is BundlePost that, and what is it that gets you using it and keeps you using it?
Yeah, so I enjoy using anything that, and I'm just going to be very honest here, anything that makes me look smart.
Yeah.
BundlePost makes me look smart, and it also cuts down my time for making me look smart. So it's kind of that simple. Like if you could look smart to anyone and at the same time, not have to work really hard to do it, that's something that I'd buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I'm already tweeting everyone's stuff that I like. I'm already trying to figure out, how do I stay relevant? How do I also give back? Because part of it isn't just tweeting your own crap. It's not that my own stuff is crap, but you don't want to put your own stuff out there 100% of the time. So I want to make sure that I'm giving back to everyone who's tweeting me, that I'm reading all of their stuff as much as I can, and doing it while I'm also, I have family, I've got a business, I'm, launching a book, I'm doing and speaking. How am I going to do all this stuff? So that's why I like the product, because you get in there and you can do something in 30 minutes that normally takes me like 1 to 2 hours a day, and that 30 minutes rides out for an entire week's worth of tweets. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we hear that. So that's awesome to hear from you as well. So what about BundlePost, if you had to nail it down to one or two things at the most, what about BundlePost is so unique in the industry in your view?
Once Google Reader actually went away, I feel like there was a missing piece for me, because I really like to go to one place to read all of my stuff. And so if you think about Feedly and what that provides, it's really the same thing as what Google Reader provided, right?
Yep.
Now take that same thinking and apply it to your tool on steroids. Feedly stops there. Then that's where BundlePost picks up for me, where I can look at all of my blog, my RSS feeds or the blogs that I'm interested in, categorize them, and then start to share them out at certain periods of time that make sense, auto hashtag them, and then provide it into my Hootsuite and measure the whole thing in a very quick manner. So it's kind of it's Feedly on it's RSS feed reader on steroids for me, to where I can see everything in one spot, but then I can share it out and provide proper attribution very quickly without just blasting everybody all at the same time, because that's never a good thing.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. So in your view, what would you say, what are the kinds of brands or marketers or companies that you feel could benefit from BundlePost, and why?
Everyone.
Can you find that? If I said that to an investor, who's your market? Oh, everyone. I'd get smacked.
I believe it. I mean, I really think everyone could use it. I think who does not have a problem with time?
Yeah.
Everyone. So why wouldn't you use it? I think everybody who is probably not online would not be ideal. And everyone who is online that wants to share and they have a hard time understanding how to be social, or they don't have enough time to curate, or they don't have a strong understanding of great content that's out there. I think executives are perfect for this.
Mm-hmm.
Executives are, a lot of people out there probably could, they're counting on a lot of other people to help tweet for them, and I don't believe in that. I think you can help grow your following pretty well, but when it comes to, enriching your life with new content, reading, up and doing it very quickly, you need to do that fast as an executive. So I'd say that that's probably the number one area I'd be interested in. I know I am for that reason.
Yeah, right on. Well, we the real premise that we had in developing BundlePost was that if the bulk of our time is being spent in this back office function of, general term aggregating, curating, scheduling, all of that, and such small percentage of our time was in building relationships, having conversations, and being human, it's going to reflect in the net results of our effectiveness, both from a revenue perspective, a traffic perspective, a community size growth, et cetera, all of those things. And so the premise was, if we could flip that, and the time was spent in the things that actually generate revenue or customers and traffic, then there might be something here. And there was a lot more here than I thought originally. And that's what we've discovered.
That's awesome. Yeah,
good stuff.
I could see that. Another thing that comes to mind is just staying top of mind.
Sure.
You don't know when somebody has something that they're ready to work with you. They're ready to, make sure that they, are constantly thinking about you. It's a very competitive world. If you're not always in front of your customer, you have a bigger chance of losing. And with everyone coming at everyone for sales, it's even harder.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the things that is there, if you're willing to take the time to do it, is to stay on top of everyone's mind that you're trying to stay in the good graces of or sell to. And so it really helps to have something where you can quickly do that and let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you, great content, and I'm here. And it can be done so quickly in a matter of, 2 seconds. Somebody could just see your tweet and say, oh, yeah, and, I remember that person, or, oh, I have something for them. I've had that happen where they just reply back and say, hey, can we talk today? Okay.
I love it. That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to spend with me and talk about BundlePost and what you're up to. Can you tell everybody where to get your book and all that?
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. It's at go to bryankramer.com/book, or you can just go to bryankramer.com, click on book, and it's Bryan with a Y, Kramer with a K. And that's probably the best way to get to it, although it's searchable and it's online at Amazon and iTunes and Nook and all those guys. And then it'll be out within the next 2 days as a hard book, as a printed book. So that'll be
wow, 2 more days.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be the day we probably make this blog post live. So we'll all link directly then to it right there on your site, and we'll maybe get me a graphic and I'll include it in there, and we'll link people right to get the hardcover.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it, Bryan. Have an awesome rest of your week, and I appreciate you taking the time with us today.
You got it. Cheers.